I want to address a sensitive but important topic that's causing concern among many people. Let's have an honest conversation about extremism, immigration, and national security. There's growing anxiety about certain individuals who falsely claim to represent Islam while promoting extremist ideologies. These concerns have intensified with recent patterns in migration, particularly regarding the demographic makeup of arrivals and potential security implications. We need to acknowledge that this isn't about prejudice or discrimination. It's about legitimate security concerns. Think about this. If a hostile regime wanted to establish influence in a democratic nation, wouldn't they try to exploit that nation's compassionate immigration policies? This isn't just theoretical. There are real worries about countries like Iran potentially viewing Britain's welcoming nature as an opportunity. The stakes are particularly high when we consider nuclear capabilities. Some fear that gaining political influence through migration could provide alternative paths to nuclear power for regimes that have been blocked through traditional channels. But here's where we need to be careful. While these security concerns are valid, they shouldn't lead us to abandon our values of compassion and fairness. The challenge lies in finding the right balance between maintaining national security and upholding humanitarian principles. There's also growing unease about potential changes to established systems, legal frameworks, cultural values, and political representation. Some worry about the erosion of traditional Christian values and the changing fabric of society. These fears have been amplified by perceptions that political leadership, both in government and opposition, might not prioritize these concerns. What's crucial is finding a way to address these challenges without creating deeper social divisions. We need open, honest discussions about these issues, acknowledging both the security risks and the importance of maintaining an inclusive, tolerant society. The solution isn't to close our doors or compromise our values, but to develop smarter, more nuanced approaches to immigration and security. We need policies that protect our national interests while staying true to our humanitarian principles and democratic values. This isn't about fear-mongering or discrimination. It's about having mature, balanced conversations about real challenges facing our society. Only through open dialogue can we hope to find solutions that work for everyone while keeping our communities safe and united. In a world torn apart by conflict, we've been taught to see our differences as barriers. But look closer. Beneath the flags we wave and the faiths we follow, we're all just people yearning for peace. Yet there they are, the monsters in suits and ties. The so-called leaders who whisper poison into our ears. They paint our neighbors as enemies, turning faith against faith, nation against nation. These spiritual and political puppeteers profit from our division, feeding off our fear and anger. But here's the truth. The real enemy isn't the person across the border, or the one who prays differently. It's those who work tirelessly to keep us fighting, to keep us afraid of each other. It's time we unmask these monsters. Time we stand together. Christian, Muslim, Jew, Hindu, all of us, and say enough. Our diversity isn't our weakness. It's our strength. And united, we're stronger than any force trying to tear us apart.
The other extremist groups, like the Muslim Brotherhood, who are friends with the IRGC and Hezbollah people, they cannot operate in Bahrain, in Oman. These are Muslim countries. Where do they operate? In London, in France, in Washington, D.C., in Australia, in Canada, Toronto. They operate here. They have bank accounts. They register charity. Right. So Macron, the president of France, recently said the Islamic world is in a crisis. I say, no, you are in a crisis. You went to the Muslim countries and you imported the garbage that the Muslim countries wanted to put in prison or isolate away from society. You went and you imported them. Why? For cheap labor. But these Islamist extremists, they don't want to work. They want free welfare. They want to marry French women, blonde hair, blue eyes. They don't have time to work. Terrorist attack in Poland. The moment they sense there's a problem, they crack down on it. Polish policy, beautiful. The French, no, come. When they come, they use the resources. They go to Washington, D.C., and they sit in Congress. They support the Iranian regime.
Yep.
They go against the sanctions in Congress, right, with their hijab. Why? Because the ideology is filth to begin with. When you import that, or you allow it in, or you amplify it, or you glorify it in any way, you make your bed, sleep in it. So that is also a problem of the West. The question is, Tina, did the extremists become stronger or the West become weaker?
Yes, my name is Sandra Solomon, and I am Palestinian. I was born with a Palestinian family, Muslim family. I was actually born in Ramallah. My whole family, we originated from Beit Tajan, Jaffa. After my birth, we moved to Jordan, and then later on, at age of 9, I moved to Saudi Arabia. So basically, I was raised most of my life in Saudi Arabia. Fast forward to the future, I was also forced into a marriage back to Saudi Arabia after I spent a few years after high school in Jordan. Lots of things to be shared for the story. There's lots of details in the story, but I'm gonna try to sum it up with the most important parts that make people understand where I came from, the struggle that I faced, persecutions that I faced as well. Number one, leaving Islam. Number two, standing for Israel, standing for the Jewish community, standing for the right of the Israel to exist. So basically, there is lots of information and the first-hand experience. That's my life. Nobody can say no to that. Nobody can question the things that I faced, first-hand experience. To start with, trying to, you're amazing and you're strong, you're brave. And I really encourage everybody who listen to you to share your videos and to share the truth, and many people to learn from that. You're very well educated about the cause and about the root cause of the conflict and all that. And I'm so honored, and it's a pleasure for me to be with you.
Before we get started, you used to be Muslim, right?
Yes.
Do you think that the conflict that we're currently at has anything to do with religion?
Of course, it's the root cause of the whole conflict. Let's put it this way. Beside other reasons, but this is the foundation of the cause. It starts with the religious conflicts between the Islamic world with the Jewish world. I'll put it this way.
For the people who don't know, Sandra, would you like me to say your full name or just Sandra?
Yes, my name is Sandra Solomon, and I am Palestinian. I was born with a Palestinian family. Muslim family. I was actually born in Ramallah. My whole family, we originated from Beit Tajan, Jaffa. After my birth, we moved to Jordan, and then later on, at age of 9, I moved to Saudi Arabia. So basically, I was raised most of my life in Saudi Arabia. Fast forward to the future, I was also forced into a marriage back to Saudi Arabia after I spent a few years after high school in Jordan. Lots of things to be shared for the story. There's lots of details in the story, but I'm gonna try to sum it up with the most important parts that make people understand where I came from, the struggle that I faced, persecutions that I faced as well. Number one, leaving Islam. Number two, standing for Israel, standing for the Jewish community, standing for the right of the Israel to exist. So basically, there's lots of information and the first-hand experience. That's my life. Nobody can say no to that. Nobody can question the things that I faced, first-hand experience. To start with, trying to lifestyle that we used to live in Saudi Arabia, the things that I've been forced onto me, especially the hijab and the niqab and covering the face and all that. So in the beginning, I will take you with a quick journey about my childhood and the things that we've been taught in between Jordan and Saudi Arabia. We grow up in a communities where not just the community, like the family, the media, the schools, the streets, everywhere. We've been taught that Jewish people are filthy, they are the occupiers who occupied our land. We have to beautify the Aqsa Mosque from them. We have to do the intifada. We have to rise up against this oppression and free Palestine from the river to the sea. And we, with the slogans that we used to chant all the time, Palestine Arabiya min al-Mayya lal-Mayya, the root foundation of the teaching, the doctrination in the school since we are young. I'm talking about 5 years old, 6 years old. We grow up daily on a day-to-day basis that when we watch the TV, when we watch about, the conflict, the attacks on the Jewish community, either coming from Gaza Strip or the West Bank, and every time when there is a terrorist attack took a place and kill innocent civilians, Jewish innocent civilians, these terrorists are praised. And we used to, like, all the neighbors, our neighbor, the whole community will go on the streets and they will give candies and they will celebrate and they will chant. And also they call it al-muqawama, resistant songs. They call it like al-anashid or aghani al-muqawama, the songs of resistance. And they will dance and do the dabka, and then like it's a celebration of death. They celebrate death. This is what I grow up with. We've been taught in school. Doesn't matter in Saudi Arabia or Jordan or at home. Again, the media, like especially Al Jazeera, day and night, feeding into people's heart and mind and spirit that Israel must be wiped out. Israel has no right to exist. Jewish people, they are filthy. They are the occupiers. They are the oppressions. They are the one who wants to, they took our land. They kill us all. They just want to wipe us. So we have to wipe them before they wipe us. Let's put it this way. And we have to get these children to learn about jihad, about terrorism, and how to, many ladies and in Jordan, in Saudi Arabia, they were, dress the kids as a Hamas, how they dress. They will dress the kids, especially in the schools, and they will dress them and they will give them a training, like a jihadi militant campaign training. So they are fully equipped mentally and physically ready to give themselves for the cause. In Arabic, al-Qadiyya al-Falastiniya, the case of Palestine. So this is the things that I grow up with. And I used to believe it. My grandma was at the from the refugees who left at the 1948. My grandmother. And she used to be a farmer. She had a big land, big 8-acre lands with a nice big house. She used to farm like an orange. Jaffa, known by the orange. It's famous there. So, but when the conflict started, okay, when the IDF or the Israeli army came in, there was a chaos. There was a clash, shooting everywhere, bombing everywhere. And, they called them al-fidaiyin, the fidaiyin, like al-jihadist or the terrorists, or another like Palestinian name for them. They call them fidaiyin. So they used to also have the clash with the Jewish community, the Israeli army and all that. So my grandmother was one of the people who left her home, her land in the 1948. So therefore, the hatred toward the Jews even doubled or tripled from my side, because I loved my grandmother. She was illiterate. She doesn't know how to read and write. She doesn't know, like, all what she knows that she had this land, this farm, and then all of a sudden she's in a refugee camp, and later on moved to Jordan. However, I just want to emphasize on this story, if you don't mind.
Please.
So to just show the difference between when the Israeli army come in to a city or a town and there is a chaos, there is a conflict, there is a clash, there is a shooting everywhere. People are the civilians. My grandma, she was a civilian. You know, she had no military training. She had no idea what's going on. She was a single mom with a 2-year-old baby, which is my father. And but when the Israeli army, I asked her many times, specifically as I grew, you know, to know exactly, you know, what the soldiers did to her. And I asked her, I want to show the people the difference when the Israeli soldiers go into a conflict zone and they want to clear out the civilians, how they conduct it, how they do it. So when they came to her, I said, did they lay hands on you? Did they beat you up? Did they were aggressive? She said, no. Surprisingly, no. She said, they were super nice to me. They talked to me nicely. They hold the baby. They helped me with the baby. And also they waited for me. She had gold and money and all that, whatever she had. She said, they give me my time. They were there securing me. And I got my gold. I got my clothes. I got whatever I need. And escorted me out, you know, to a safe zone until, you know, she reached out to the refugee camp. So for people to understand, like that time, later on, I came to realize when October 7th happened, you know, when Hamas came in and killed all these innocent people and the children and raped women and the stupidity, terrorist things that they did, the difference between the Israeli army and the difference between these terrorists, what they did, the atrocity, what they did, the brutally, what they did to the Jewish community. So, and in comparison, so when they talk about the IDF, I really salute to IDF and I appreciate every hard work. These soldiers are the lion and the lioness in the face of these hyenas and wolves. And that's the difference. When you talk about soldiers who respect humanity, who's there for the people, the women, the right for the children, the safety of the kids. So they escort her out. And of course, definitely she, like anybody who will feel definitely sad to leave their home and their lands behind. No doubt about it. But her crying all the time when she used to watch it at the TV and all that, and she will cry when she see like especially the first intifada and the second intifada and all that. But then I said to her, Grandma, like, thanks God, now you are safe. You are alive. You know, you're here. Anyway, like at the end of the day, even in Islam, it teaches that everybody that one day will die and take nothing with them. We're not taking anything with them. The most important thing is your life. It's your existence. It doesn't matter which land you're on. Right. It doesn't matter which country. You're alive. The Israeli soldiers, they did not she said, no, they treat me very well. They did not, they beat you? No. They slap you? No. They drag you? No. She was like, no, they were like very nice to me and they give me my time to take care of my baby, and they hold the baby and they help her out to escort her in a safe zone. So people need to see the difference. That's very important point to mention. Later on, when I grew up with that, of course, the sadness of my grandmother, beside the teaching in school, in the media, on the street, everywhere, that as a Palestinian, we have to, you know, do intifada and go to Al-Aqsa Mosque and purify the Aqsa Mosque, because Islam teach that the Jews are filthy, najs in Arabic. Najs mean even more than filthy. Like they are the filthiest people on the face of the planet. And they are, that's why when the Jewish rabbis and the community, they want to pray on the Temple Mountain, they rise up against them. They they get angry and outraged. You know what I mean? How come you let these Jews to walk in the Temple Mountain, which was their temple with the Solomon temple and all that, whatever I learned after.
You weren't aware at the time that the temple belonged to the Jewish people way before it belonged to the Muslim?
No. Let me put it this way. So the history has been twisted. The twisting of the history and the hiding of the most important information that will free anybody and everybody who comes to in a full understanding of what happened in the past. So we never, they say, oh, Israel claimed that there was a temple. Israel are lying. They are digging and they are building these tunnels underneath the Aqsa Mosque or the Dome of the Rock so it can fall, so they can build the temple. And there was no temple ever. It was always a mosque, always Al-Aqsa Mosque. It's always there. There was no existence of the Jewish community in that land, in that region. Always Arab, always Muslim. So we grow up in knowing or believing that, okay, so these people who being cast out from Europe, from Russia, from the whole world, okay, nobody wants them. Everybody hates them, especially, the Nazis after of course, the Holocaust and all that. So, okay. So this is what they, teach us. Oh, everybody hate the Jews. Nobody loves the Jews. It doesn't matter where are on any country in the world. Everybody will still hate the Jews, and they don't want them. They say, okay, let's just send them to Palestine and build the state of Israel on the rubble of the state of Palestine, supposedly. So this is what I grow up with, knowing or believing that there was no such a thing called Israel. The Jewish community are hated globally. Nobody wants them. Everybody hates them. And then all of a sudden, after Balfour Declaration, they say, okay, let's give them a land and give the Palestinian land a little bit, split the lands to the Israelis or to the Jewish community and also to the Palestinians. And on top of that, they will say it that, okay, we accept it, but the Jews, they don't want. Israel doesn't want. We want the peace. We are the one who wants the peace. Like, it's a hypocrisy, the contradicting. As I grew more and more, as I came to know the truth about the evil cruelty of the cult of Islam, that was my first wake-up call. As I was raised in Saudi Arabia, as I mentioned, of course, we were forced to wear the hijab. We were forced to cover the face. I've been to Mecca many times. We grew up in the city of Jeddah, very close to Mecca, and we used to go there. And the things that I've seen, the harassment, the sexual harassment in the Kaaba, around the Kaaba itself.
What do you mean by sexual harassment? Can you be more specific? What did you see?
For many people, they don't even maybe know this. Men, when they wear the whites, like the white gown, whatever they wear on their body, like the towel, I would say they wrap it up around themselves. There's no underwear. They're not wearing underwear. So when a massive number of people, bumper to bumper, hitting to each other. So I've been sexually harassed in Mecca. Like this has happened like later on. And many women, they suffer from that. So at age of, let's say 16, 17, I start to rebel. I said, you know what? I don't want to wear the hijab. We used to go to Jordan every summer vacation, and we spend the time with my grandmother. And so I would like Jordan. It's a little bit more of a secular, than Saudi Arabia. So I would say that when I used to see like lots of women, they're not wearing the hijab. So why you want to force me to wear it? I hate it. That was my red my first red flag is the hijab. I don't want to wear the hijab. It doesn't make me pure or holy to put this rag on my head. It comes within. The holiness, the cleanliness, it comes from within. It's not what's on me. It's what's in me, of the ideas, of the beliefs.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, they lots of things happen after, you know, my family start, of course, persecuting me. And when I start to question, and many times in Saudi Arabia, they kicked me out from the class many times. They didn't let me come back to the class for so many days. And the fact that I start questioning Quran itself, questioning Muhammad himself. So I used to ask them question. But in Islam, you cannot ask. لا تسألوا عن أشياء إذا تبدى لكم تسؤكم. Don't ask about anything if it appears to be, if it appears to you, it will harm you. Why would it harm me if this is the truth? Why would it harm me? Would it benefit me? It's supposed to benefit me and make me more delight and understanding. What's this verse really mean? What's the the message of this book? What's this message?
Sandra, you started